What we do in investing is buy businesses or buy assets, and when we buy them, we assume an outcome for the future. And as long as you assume the outcome for the future, you should not get distracted by the volatility between now and then.
In these times of uncertainty, we really have to see through the noise. And what we find to be extremely helpful at Brookfield is to go back to the fundamentals. So what is really happening around the world today is increasing electrification trends, is reindustrialization and digitalization.
Deglobalization, it's real. Tariffs have firmly cemented this at the top of the corporate agenda, and as companies seek to refocus, re-energize, relocate, and regain control of their supply chains, it will require substantial capital and expertise.
So today there are 523 private credit managers globally. If you went back just 10 years ago, there were 92. And if you went back 5 years before that, there were 39. The industry expectations are over the next 4 to 5 years, we'll add another $1 trillion of private credit assets in the industry. So the growth has been very meaningful.
To be successful as a private equity investor requires operational skills and transformation. And that's not something that managers can build overnight. It takes a long time to develop the skills, the expertise, and the experience. And that's something that we've been doing for over 2 decades.
In Asia, it's home to 60% of the world's population. Most importantly, 2/3 of global growth resides in Asia, and we are very underbuilt. Despite having 2/3 of global growth, we only have 1/3 of global real estate.
About 72% of the emissions in the world come from emerging markets and developing economies, but only 15% of the capital in relation to transition has gone into those economies. There's multiple, examples we talk about in Southeast Asia, where companies are just looking to try and get security of supply. They're just trying to get energy.
Particularly in India and Southeast Asia, the power demand growth is even more exponential than in developed markets. Demand for power is expected to grow between 4 and 6% per year for the next decade. Some of these countries will need to almost double their installed capacity of power in the next decade or so. And this is even before taking account AI.
A lot of the demand for consumption of AI compute is coming from companies that didn't exist 12 or 24 months ago. Further down the track, AI is enabling robotics, and robotics are going to become a very real part of the global economy at some point in the next decade, and all of that robotics is going to be AI powered, and that AI powered is going to require more and more data centers.
Expectations are by the time we get to 2030, almost 1/3 of all the data center use will be AI related.
We're going to need more power, we're going to need more land, and we're going to need more funding. And so that's a huge opportunity, obviously, because we have all of those things.
If we just think about the amount of power, for example, that's required to ramp up significantly advanced manufacturing through reshoring, or to build out of data centers to support AI, generative AI and cloud, which are extremely power consumptive, the demand for power is insatiable.
There's opportunities that are going to be required for behind the meter power. And then also there's many different things that are going to be required to be developed to help scale up the supply chain that is required to build at the rate that's required. So all of those things are in the set of opportunities that we're looking at.
We have $1 trillion of assets under management. 50% of those assets that we own today, so $500 billion of assets, are assets that did not exist as an institutional investment asset class 15 years ago. So we invest in the backbone of the global economy, but the economy is dramatically changing all the time. And I started this 25 years ago. I'm more convinced today than ever that anything you don't need for liquidity, you should have in private markets in some way.